Can we envision a world where we rise up in the morning with a renewed mindset, an inspired spirit to do greater works, and return home to rest with the feeling of accomplishment and fulfillment? Welcome to the Coach Scofray podcast, where we bring you transformative, inspiring, thought-provoking insight for the love of coaching, for the love of leadership, for the love of human capital development. Follow and share to inform, inspire, and elevate. Welcome to another beautiful episode, and it's also a continuation from the leadership episode that I started, and it is just to expand more and narrow it to a point what we call Neuro-Authentic Leadership, which is basically the neuroscience or the neurology of authentic leadership. I said that in France, a beautiful suburb called Cancun, in La Maison Calcom, if I got the French right. During the upgrade of one of the certification I hold as MBIT Master Coach, where we delve deeper into the autonomic nervous system and its influence, its impact on who we are, whom we are being. And in one of the sessions, I broke down into tears because it dawned on me that the world is in a space, because if you look at McKinsey, World Economic Forum, Gallup, 6 Seconds, all the research agencies, all the leadership interest organizations, all of them have come to one conclusion, that the world is in a deficit of leadership. All, if you cascade all and put together, it comes to the point. And interestingly, it was during COVID that exposed that deficit of leadership the human race we've gotten on our hands. So what got me to break down during one of the sessions was when we were looking at the neurochemistry, the neuromodulators, the neurotransmitters, all that we're looking at that. And I doff my hat to Gabriel Cram when we came to the understanding that, see, most often than not, when we're discussing leadership, I will ask you, okay, where does it sit in a human body? Where does leadership sit in a human body? And it does not sit in one place. Even though when you pick the cephalic brain or the cranial, what we call the cranial brain, okay, this part of my forehead, this forehead, behind it, there is a part of the brain we call the prefrontal cortex, which its sole work is the executive function. And one of the leadership attributes is executive function. And the neurotransmitter that aids that executive function is dopamine. Then I quickly understood, like it's just like an eureka moment, or it's like an epiphany that I went through. I now understand why we are in leadership deficit, because the world has still not moved from the command and control and reward-driven leadership. We've not transitioned yet from there. So when you look at the Gallup report of what followers are seeking from their leaders, it says that hope, the need to feel positive about the future for leaders to provide a clear direction. This is one of the things that the current dispensation is seeking from leaders. 2, trust. The need for honesty, respect, and integrity. 3, compassion. The need to feel cared about and listened to. 4, stability. The need for psychological safety, secure foundations during times of uncertainties. According to Gallup, these are the 4 cardinal needs of followers from their leaders. So it quickly dawned on me that if our current dispensation of leadership is dopamine driven, meaning we pay reward, we do that for leaders who crunch the numbers and gets us the return on investment and everything. So are you surprised why followers of this moment, this era, are looking for hope? And hope came tops, looking for trust, looking for compassion, and looking for stability. For me, in my practice as MBIT trainer and MBIT coach, multiple brain integration techniques coach or trainer, all these 4 things that Gallup found in their survey or research about what followers are looking for their leaders, it quickly dawned on me that, and that was what Gabriel tried to explain to us, that dopamine lays with vasopressin and oxytocin is what shifts the leadership to produce this kind of results that followers are looking for. So this means that leadership is not just a philosophy. This means that leadership is not just ancient wisdom. Leadership is also scientific. Leadership is also neurological. That is how come authentic leadership is not only a philosophy, it's not only an ancient disposition of a new way to lead, but it's also scientific. It's also neuroscientific. It is also neurological. So as the coach in me wants to ask you this question: how can a leader exercise, evoke, court compassion, which the followers are looking for, if Gallup work is anything to go by? Which neurochemical will stimulate hope for which followers are seeking from their leaders? Which neurochemical will stimulate stability? Which neurochemical deals with trust? And I doff my heart to all MBIT coaches across the globe for the good job you're doing. For coaches who may not even know that the services we are rendering tile into all these 4 major areas that Gallup adduced. Because the kind of leadership required for this our dispensation is authentic leadership. Meaning, when you are able to bring the prime functions of your cephalic brain, when you're able to bring the prime functions of the cardiac brain, when you're able to bring the prime functions of the gut, when you bring all the 3 together in coherence, in alignment, in synchronicity, the deepermost of us, which is authenticity, emerges. Because I think one of the works, I don't know whether it's from Gabor Mate, I don't know whether it is Antonio Di Masio, or one of them, the works that I clinch on is that too much of serotonin is a challenge. Too much of dopamine is a challenge. Too much of vasopressin is a challenge. Too much of neuroepinephrine is a challenge. Too much of oxytocin is a challenge. So that is why it is important that this dispensation of leaders we are looking for and beyond must be supported to bring these all to a place where they can be in a balance, in rhythm, in a certain pattern, such that they can all bring the best they are without in a challenge with each other. That is how come this moment I'm talking about neuro-authentic leadership. Because it is the human heart that is the center of compassion. Stability is the same as grounding. It is the gut, the work of the human gut, the gut's brain, that brings that stability. Grounding. Hope is the amalgamation of all these two or three brains centering itself that in the face of all these uncertainties, there is something to hope for. So, leadership cannot be as a usual philosophy or a concept or a context that we discuss people occupying a certain space, occupying a certain position. Leadership must thrive, emerge, and evoked from a place of authenticity. And because we are so used to the command and control, the heavily dopamine-driven, high-handedness, when we hear about oxytocin, vasopressin, when we hear about hope, trust, compassion, stability, we shift into something we call feminine energy, but it is not so. Because even if you look at the yin-yang, masculinity and femininity, when they come together, authenticity is adduced, it emerges, it is evoked. So what kind of leader are you being in your place of work? For the teams, for the department, in the C-suite, in the boardroom, how do you know that you are exercising neuro-authentic leadership? Because per our practice, we know there are so many, because of the command control, profit-driven. Look at how much we are spending on psychological safety. Look at how much we are spending on emotional intelligence, which I will discuss in other episodes. It is because, for the lack of authentic leadership, people of the dark tetrad personality have entered the space of leadership. They are occupying positions. And when I say the dark tetrad, I'm basically talking about the four personalities, both in their F1 and F2 traits. The Machiavellian, the sadist, the psychopath, and the narcissist. Unfortunately, we only box all of them into one title, personality, narcissism. But they are all distinct. So when we are able to bring authenticity, where leaders can feel vulnerable, where leaders can listen without judgment and bias, where leaders can also know, learn, and be that this one I don't know, but it is this colleague of mine, that subordinate, is that follower that has got that pedigree. Because one of the ways to know a leader is authentic is when they can sit back and also applaud their subordinate, where they can give honor and reverence to whom it is due, and it's not about them alone. That is authenticity. So in the neuro-authentic leadership that I offer also to corporate, one of the areas we look at is tracking your journey, tracking your leadership journey, tracking your vulnerability, tracking your authenticity, tracking your listening, being able to sense, feel, and know that it is okay not even to know. So in the neuro-authentic leadership, it stimulates hope. Neuro-authentic leadership creates stability so people can thrive. It stimulates compassion so people can feel heard, seen, appreciated, validated. If you come to my part of the world, we are challenged with high-handedness of corruption, which is the absence of trust. And maybe in another episode, I will discuss survivalhood and living, for which reason we can breed authentic leadership based on philosophy, based on neurology, based on ancient wisdom. I am Scofray Nanayao Yeboah, a Master Certified Coach by the International Coaching Federation. So actually, I'm a transformation executive coach. And like I have shared on this particular podcast, I envision a world where you wake up with inspiration, with the hope to touch lives. Thank you.